Hey everyone, it's Whitney. Welcome to today's video. I am so excited for this video and this little series I got going on. This is going to be the first video in a 3-part king bedroom makeover series. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I added a little bit of a detail to the king bedroom. Now, I was originally going to do wall paneling, like wall molding, some really nice ornate boxes, but I ran into a little bit of a snag in the early stages of the design process, which I'm going to show you here in just a second. If you are going to be doing something like this, you can either learn from my mistake or you can run with my idea. But I had to kind of change design courses, and I ended up just doing a chair rail in the kind of like the lower quarter of the room, lower third of the room, and adding a complementary color to the bottom portion. And I love how this room is coming along. The chair rail and the complementary color just elevated the space. It gave it that little extra zhuzh it needed, and I just love how this is coming along. So if you guys like videos like this, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I would love to have you here. I make videos on DIYs, thrift flips, home renovations, room makeovers, and all of the above. So let's get into this makeover. So here's what I'm thinking. I think this is called a dado rail. That's gonna go all the way around the whole room. And then there's going to be big box here, small one there, small one there. Long rectangle one here, long rectangle one there, then a big one in the middle. That'll be the same height as here. And then kind of like a shorter one in the middle. That'll be the same length as the top one. And then that's gonna continue around for either side of the window. There's going to be a smaller rectangle here, that dado rail, and then a larger one above. So I think that shelf is gonna need to move up just a little bit. And then this wall is gonna get a huge makeover in the future. I'm gonna be building out another closet over here, pushing this one back just a little bit so we can actually have an entire full trim around the door. So push that back a little bit, build another one over here, and then maybe build like a desk and some shelves. But this works for now. There's a desk in here, some vintage decor that I've picked up from estate sales. It kind of gives it a little bit more of a cottagecore vibe. The theme for this room is photography. I have a ton of photography books. This is like a light stand, old cameras. This is also a really cool light. This is an old Kodak Brownie camera. These coasters are from a photographer who lived in New York City in the 70s. And I like this room. It just needs a little bit more of an update. I'm gonna be keeping the photography collection here. I just like it. You guys know I like to mix styles. So it's farmhouse, it's photography, a little contemporary, a little cottagecore, a little bit of everything, but that's how I like to do it. So let's start doing this project. After contemplating lots of different numbers and just looking at it from afar, I think I like this better than the other way. I think I like the top square coming down below that outlet. So I think we're gonna do this. I'm not gonna put the dado rail up so high. So let's just go ahead and get our measurements and mark them on the wall. So after hours of doing calculations and drawing all of the lines on the wall, this line right here, the ceiling line, is not straight at all. From the center line of the wall, I marked down 4 inches and drew a level line. Over here, on that level line, from the crown molding down to where 4 inches is supposed to be, is 5.5, and over here is 2.5. If I put boxes up there, it's just going to accentuate the unevenness of that ceiling line. So I've come up with another idea after almost melting down. So I'm thinking just a simple chair rail. It's not gonna be 1x4. It'll probably be like some sort of like pretty MDF. But keep the upper part of the wall the Swiss coffee, paint the lower part of the wall the weathered moss, because I still have some of that paint. So the chair rail and the lower portion of the wall will be this weathered moss, and then the upper portion will be a fresh coat of Swiss coffee. All right, finally back from Home Depot with all of my materials and a clear plan. So whenever you are installing any sort of like chair rail or wall molding or shiplap or anything like that to your walls, you're gonna wanna mark the center of your wall and then draw a level line, because especially if you live in older houses like this, there's never going to be a straight line anywhere. So start in the middle and then work your way that way and see how much play there is on either end. And if it's too much, like in my situation, divert and think of a new solution. But if it's only off by like a 1/2 inch, you're fine. You can kind of cheat it a little bit. A chair rail at a lower level is gonna work perfectly for this situation. I'm gonna have the top of my chair rail come to 38 inches. That's what the one in the hallway is, so it can kind of be cohesive from the hallway into the bedroom. Now you can put your chair rail wherever the heck you wanna put it. You don't have to put it at 36, 37, 38 inches. You can put it higher, you can put it chest high. I have a bathroom where the chair rail is about chest high, or you can put it like knee level. You can do whatever it is that you want. But since this hallway right here that connects to the bedroom has a chair rail with beadboard underneath it at 38 inches, I'm going to connect that around, but can kind of flow from the hallway into the bedroom and look like it's cohesive. I'm going to draw yet another line on this wall and get to cutting my chair rail. Then we're going to put it up and paint it and move on. Use your stud finder and a pencil to mark your studs so you know where to put your nails. Just using some of this Loctite Power Grab glue, I'm gonna put it all over the back of my chair rail and then put it up and nail it in. Looking good. I think I need to shave a little off. Ah! Hi. What's going on? I have to shave off literally like a 1/16 of an inch. Arrgh! Alright, let's try this again. That will work. We're looking good. We're looking good. Now it's caulking time. Just have a wet rag, get your finger wet, and press it right on in. Now you're gonna go around and fill in all of your nail holes. Then once that dries, we can sand it down and paint it. So for these pencil lines that I made earlier, I'm just taking a warm soapy rag and I'm gonna wipe them down. I'm not too worried about getting everything off, but I wanna get most of the graphite off so it doesn't mix into my paint. So just warm soapy rag and just start scrubbing away. I'll see how that's mostly gone. I'm gonna be painting over this, so I'm not too worried about that. I just wanted to get the majority of it off because graphite can change, it can muddy up your paint color a little bit.
I think this tree would look really cute with the circle mulch around it, like some of some more like an average white.
The first puppy and then the second puppy, she had told me, because when Destiny's kittens, I was like, oh my god, chromatic, no, and
So I have figured out my chair rail color dilemma. I pulled you guys over on Instagram and it is literally 50-50 right now. So I'm going to paint the chair rail, the weathered moss, to match the bottom. I think that's going to make the room look a little bit less busy. If I did white and not Swiss coffee and not the green, it would look too disjointed. If I did the Swiss coffee, I feel like it would bring the color down too low. So I'm going to do the green to give the walls a little bit more height, and I think the painted molding will give the room a little bit of an elegant vibe. So that's what we're gonna be doing. So everything's gonna need 2 coats. I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 coats of the weathered moss on the lower portion and on the chair rail. Then I'll go ahead and do a fresh coat of the Swiss coffee up above, and we'll see how it turns out. First coat is done, looking pretty good. I need to do a second coat and then paint a fresh coat of the Swiss coffee all along the top and just clean up the edges on the chair rail a little bit, and we're good. Now let's talk about this chair rail decision. I am glad that I painted the chair rail to match the weathered moss. I think it looks really good in this room, but to get a nice clean line on the top, holy cow. That was a task. So if you are not comfortable cutting in, or if you don't want to be using painter's tape, then just paint the chair rail the same color as the upper portion of the wall. It's so much easier to cut in underneath because it doesn't have to be perfect. I am sticking to my decision of painting the chair rail the same weathered moss as the bottom part, because right there is where I wanted the break to be. Taking it down a little bit further is a little bit too low. So if you're gonna be doing a project like this and adding some chair rail and you want your visual break on the wall to be, let's say, at 38 inches, make sure your chair rail, the bottom of it, is sitting at 38. So the color starts at your break point. Because if you're painting the chair rail the same color as the uppers, that color is gonna blend right in on top of that, and then the visual break will happen right below that. For me, do you guys know the guy on TikTok? For me, bringing that color below the chair rail was just a little bit too low. I didn't like the proportion on the wall in here. So keep that in mind if you're doing something like this. Make sure where you want your visual break to be is where your color is going to be. So if you want to paint that chair rail, you can bring it lower. But if you don't, which I highly recommend, just match it to the uppers and have your color below it. Just bring that a little bit higher or whatever it is for the proportions for your wall. You guys, look at this. One screw. So this room was red at one point, and then it was green. Is it centered? We can adjust later. We did it, you guys. It looks so good. I love it. I love the height that it is right above the dressers. It kind of frames out those dressers just perfectly. So yay. It is nighttime. I'm gonna take some videos in the morning. I'm gonna show you here in just a second of what this room looks like in sunlight. And remember, this is only part one of this king bedroom makeover, so make sure you're subscribed. Tune in next week because we're gonna totally be redoing this bed and making it super, super cozy-licious. Okay. All right, I'm gonna show you some clips, but I will see you guys in next week's video. Okay, bye.